Hi everyone, it's Julia and we are here back again with another episode of People of Couch Community. This time we're doing a little bit of a crossover with our Wellness for Your Wellbeing series, and I'm so excited to introduce you to a fantastic, amazing makeup artist and business owner named Peta-Gai. So Peta-Gai is a co-founder, visionary and principal makeup artist of Iridis Cosmetics. She's a leader and mentor of the makeup artists, educators, and is a strategic driving force behind the brand and the Iridis experience. So she's super passionate, very infectious, and today she will be sharing with us some tips on how to make us feel confident and look good on Zoom. So let's bring her into the studio. Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm brilliant today. Friday, come on, like it's all happening.
Exactly. The weather is looking great, and here we are.
I've got the child in daycare. I'm off the leash. It's amazing.
Exactly. It sounds fantastic already. So I'm so excited because we've actually had you as part of one of our earlier episodes in Wellness for Your Wellbeing with the amazing Diana Nguyen, who's a fantastic comedian. You and her did a little bit of a makeup session together. How did that go?
Oh, look, fantastic. I was actually really impressed, like for her to be able to have created her beautiful face of makeup with me just telling her what to do. I was like, this actually works. Like, who knew that you could do this on Zoom?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in fact, there were so many of us watching that we all felt so inspired to actually go and put makeup on after the episode. So it's really great.
I love it. It's exactly what I wanted to have happen.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I'm definitely someone who sort of wears makeup, but not so much at the same time. And since being in COVID, I think there was like a good month of me just kind of in a way giving up and not really feeling the need to apply makeup or to look good. I'm slowly getting a little bit better with that now. But the reality is so many of us are stuck at home, having to go from one room Zoom meeting to the next meeting, back to back. And, you know, we've got to look awake. We've got to look interesting. What are some of your tips with us today?
Oh, look, I so relate. Like I think for the first bit of, lockdown, I was like, all right, well, great. No makeup, tracky dacks, bra is optional. Like, this is like a weekend. And then I started just feeling a bit crap about myself. And, like at Iridis, we're a big proponent of makeup doesn't make you look prettier. It's not about being prettier. This is about enhancing what you've got. Finding your best feature, but using that to feel more confident about yourself. And, literally I just would look in the mirror and just be like, oh my God, I look so tired. Or, I always feel like when I'm not wearing makeup, it's easier to see flaws in my face. And then it's easier for me to focus on that, which just makes me feel crap about myself. So then when sort of, things started with moving into doing a lot more Zoom and, just interacting with people a bit more, a lot of my clients messaged me and said, look, I don't actually know what I should be doing makeup wise for Zoom. Like, this is my regular face, but it doesn't translate because it's on camera. Like, what do I need to be doing differently on my face? And so, I was like, oh, this is a whole new thing for us. Like, this could be my specialization during lockdown. So then I problem solved all the things that make for a great Zoom. And so I just love that that's what we're talking about today, because it's become a passion of mine, how to look amazing on Zoom.
Yeah, you need to, because, you're in the reality world. I think that first moment of being in lockdown, you're like, yeah, whatever, people don't care. But now it's like actually becoming a norm. Like, I do have to attend meetings that are equally as important as if I was in a room with them. Now it's just, on camera. So I do need to look good. I do need to make a strong impression, especially when I'm trying to pitch an idea or convince them to engage in our services. I got to be, on point. So, confidence, you kind of do need to, feel good about yourself. So, I'm really excited about this topic.
I'm so glad. Yeah, like a number of my clients have actually been doing interviews on Zoom. Now, like if that is not one place where you want to make the best impression of yourself, you know, that is the thing. Like this is where you really need to be focused. So, and I don't think this is going away in a hurry. Like so much of the community is still working from home and is still going to be working from home. So, you know, Zoom is going to be our new normal, I reckon.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. So as tip 1, what would you say? What's the first thing that we should do?
Lighting. So for makeup artists, this is like 101 life, right? Like if we can't see what we're doing, we're not going to do good work. So first up, a lot of people have their own ring lights these days, and ring lights are amazing. They're really easy to get. You know, they're quite cheap. Like you can get it all on eBay and get it shipped to you. You know, it's easy. So ring lights are going to be your best thing. What you want to be doing is having it front on to yourself. So don't be having it off to the side. And you really want to have that even light. You want to have a white light. You don't want to have too much warmth in it because it can go quite like yellowy toned and you look a bit jaundiced. So even toned. And then if you've got the attachment, your phone can actually sit inside of that ring light so that you've got that beautiful surrounding light around you. So that would be my first tip, is your lighting. Now, if you don't happen to have a ring light, and there's a lot of us that don't, what we do in the business is utilize the natural light. Now, there's a few key tricks about this. What you actually want to be doing is, you know, pulling your curtains up, like right up to the top. You want to be facing the window. So this might feel a little weird because you might have to readjust what your setup is in terms of your computer or your phone. But if you've got that light facing towards you, you're going to have a much more even view of everything. So that's definitely the first tip of getting that lighting right. So you don't want to have it too bright because you are going to be a bit squinty. So depending on the time of year and all that sort of stuff, being in winter at the moment, the light's a little bit more diffused. And you might want to also get some of those sheer curtains that go over the top of your window so that it just gives it like a little bit of a light box kind of feel.
Okay, so, I love all this, but clearly I'm doing it all wrong because my lovely husband who has managed to plug the ring light in for me, he has put it to the side of me rather than but
look,
you know,
I don't want to say anything, Julia.
Right. And the fact is I do have a natural window here, but it's, again, I'm not facing it correctly. So I should
and I mean, look, this is the thing, right? Like this is what I do for a living. Of course I'm going to be like, this is best practice, but you don't look bad on camera. So but what you can see, thank God, but what you can see is you've got more brightness on one side of your face than the other. Now, when you've got that uneven light source, that's actually going to affect your makeup. So like if you're darker on one side but lit up more on the other, then your makeup on this side is going to look lighter than the one on this side. So this, you know, like lighting is a big part of what we do as good makeup artists, especially for photography and videography, which we specialize in. So this is something that I'm like, you know, I am all over the light.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Okay, good tip. Well, this is what not to do.
Brilliant. Look, you know what though? You've nailed number 3 on my list. So with like least you've got that.
Okay, good. Excellent. All right, what's number 2?
So number 2 is to always clean the lens of your camera, be it on your iPhone or your Samsung or on your computer. So like obviously when we hold our phone up, a lot of like oils and makeup and, you know, hair products and all that sort of stuff can get into that lens on the camera. So this is a bit of a tip for generally when you're taking photos and especially selfies, is to clean your lens off. So that's your first thing before you even sit down and load up Zoom, clean all that off. And especially with actually on your computer, because it can distort an image if you've got a bit of dust or grime over the top of the lens.
Yeah, great. Fantastic. Good tip. We did do some, you know, cleaning just before we started. So
I love it. See, look, you've nailed number 2 as well.
okay, good. Sorted. All right, so let's talk about tip number 3, which is around the background.
Yes.
What do you think?
And look, you've nailed this. This is like you've got perfection going on. I mean, as you can see, I've got like my little couch, my velvet luxe couch over here with a pop of color. Like that makes it sound like I am fancy AF in my studio, right? Like, and then I've got context. Right? How good is that? It's like a pop of color. And then on this side, I've got my tester makeup stand. So that gives you context straight away. So you're like, oh, she does makeup. Oh, it's makeup. Oh, it's beauty. Like, you've got that context. And likewise with your beautiful background, you've done a great job of that because you've got a mixture of textures and colors. The plant shows that you actually are a warm and lovely person because you don't kill plants. Like, that is great. Okay, so you haven't killed that one.
That one is from The Office. I had no choice but to bring it home. So,
oh look, tell the truth. It's plastic, isn't it?
It is true. It's real. It's real. It is from The Office, and I must say, it's still alive. Very much so, thanks to my husband who manages to water it. So.
Yeah. I went out to the backyard the other day and my mint, which, I mean, you can't kill mint. It turns out I can. Like, oh my God, I forgot to water it. It needs so much water. It's high maintenance, honestly. You've also got your diploma on the wall and, you've got another, little bit of artwork there. The diploma gives you the credibility. It's like, look at how amazing I am. And it's not distracting. So this is my next big tip. You cannot have a distracting background if you want to be taken seriously and professionally. So, for example, I have seen and I have been on Zoom calls where the Zoom is set up in someone's bedroom because they've locked themselves away, and the view right behind them is straight through to their ensuite with a towel on the floor, the toilet seat up, and bottles of shampoo and beauty products everywhere. And look, truly, it distracted the hell out of me. And, people are so judgy, like you want to be having them judge you on what you're talking about, not your toilet.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
All right.
That's
So you
great.
Think about that. Like, this is what can you see behind you? Like, have you got some clean lines? Obviously, mess is a big one. The other day I got set up and everything looked perfect. And then I look forward at my camera and there's one of my cats licking its bum in the background. It's like so professional.
I've had those moments as well because I've got 2 cats and they like to make appearances in these videos a lot.
Oh, so much. Yeah. Like I filmed one of the early days of Zoom, and I filmed one and my cat walked under the front and all you could see was his tail, which kept wrapping around my face. And I had to pause and re-edit, you're going to have to do some editing. So, pets are obviously another thing, think about them not interrupting you. And obviously kids, I mean, with homeschooling, that's been a really hard one for a lot of parents. And, having a kid yelling in the background. But I mean, look, this is also a kind of cute story about COVID that, we were with our pets, we were with our kids, and we somehow made it work. But if you're filming content, if you are trying to come across professionally, going for a job interview, pitching for work, this is stuff that, we can control about how people perceive us.
Yes, absolutely. Fantastic. Now, I like your next tip, which is around the appearance and makeup.
Yes.
Because, so true. Like the first couple of months, I didn't bother putting on any makeup because I was like, who's going to see, who's going to notice anything?
Yeah.
Now I'm starting to do it a little bit more. But I guess what are your tips on trying to not look flat or, you just got out of bed kind of thing?
Yeah, totally. Well, look, you've nailed this one as well. Like this fourth tip, you've got down pat because you've got nice pop of color that doesn't detract from the rest of your surroundings. You've got that greeny blue, which is very good on your skin tone, but also matches nicely with your plants. So it's not clashy, it's not glary. Like for example, fabrics and patterns can be a little overwhelming sometimes on Zoom, and you don't want anything that's going to strobe either. So depending on your light, depending on your camera, you might have that sort of distraction with your clothes. Whenever I've worked on television, for example, the stylists are all about making sure that the camera will see that fabric and that pattern in one way rather than it being a weird disconnect. It's a thing, like it's an actual thing.
It's so thing because I think I do have a stripy top and I've worn it a few times to meetings and it's like trippy because I'm not moving but the top is.
Right, exactly. It is. It's trippy. And like, like that might be a good distraction technique if you've, like maybe not prepared or, you're trying to bamboozle someone. But most of the time you want to be not distracting the viewer while they're looking at you. So, plain black is like can look a bit flat, if you've just got black, which of course I've got on today because being a makeup artist is all I bloody wear. But, because I've got the colour in my hair, it does change that look for me. So that's another one of my tips, bringing colours, jewellery, fabric up here that's more that you can see on camera. So, like, of course, we know that with Zoom, pants are optional. I mean, we don't even know if you've got pants on today, Julia.
You never know.
I mean, it's all part of the mystery of Zoom, right? Maybe it's tracky dacks. Maybe you got your PJs on and you've just like fancied up the top, right? So then we need to be thinking about that. So maybe like a collared shirt or something that's got a bit more interest up here that is raising that appearance to the top part of your face. Make an effort with your hair. If you've got it all pulled back, that's going to look a certain way on camera than if you've got it, framing your face and having it a bit softer around your face. Play with it, like see what you like best, and how you want to portray yourself to your audience. And maybe some scarves or something that you can have that's a bit closer to your face that gives the like look at my face kind of thing like that. It's all about giving that appearance.
Yeah, fantastic. No, very, very true. Now I'm going to fix my hair.
Well, and makeup wise, I mean, when we first talked, you said to me, I wear very little makeup. I'm a very natural person. Obviously that's, not my MO. I love makeup. I wear like everything in my makeup range on my face every day. Like it's my fabulous thing. But, it's me putting on my Peta-Gai persona. This is, part of my battle armor. There's a reason they call it war paint. And so for me, this is my look. But like my wife, who also runs Iridis with me, she's a foundation, blusher, brows, mascara girl, and that's it. That's her look. And for Zoom, it really doesn't need to be a lot of work. It's not like you're going out and you need to, have it looking amazing and you're in dim light. You're in well-lit light, ideally. And so, like, really, it's just about enhancing your features. And the top tips for that have got to be even out your skin tone. Like that's, the first up. If you're lucky enough to have incredible skin, skip foundation or a BB cream. But for most of us, it's just even out that skin tone. And then you want to add a little bit of color back. Because unless you are lit perfectly, the camera is always going to be dulling you down. And even if you do wear blush and you do wear lipstick, if you do have a ring light or natural light that's coming straight on your face, you might actually need to amp up your blusher or your lip color just to give that the right tone, because the camera will translate it differently.
Yeah. Definitely. Yes. Because we were saying this just before we went live. I feel like I have a resting bitch face.
Yes.
Most of the time, because I would, yeah, you know, sometimes I'm not aware that I'm on or whatever. And I feel like if I don't, how I notice if I don't have lipstick or something on and I'm not, you know, I'm concentrating, but I'm just staring down the camera or something, I look angry.
Oh, I so understand.
Or uninterested, which is not my thing, but
yes, I know. It's like you are so not a bitch. Like you're like the antithesis of a bitch. So, you know, but I so relate with that. And, you know, like I'm all about playing up eyes most of the time. Like I really love, you know, showing out the eyes for people because it is such a warm feature on most people's faces. And so making them look bigger and more expressive and beautiful and more blue or more green or whatever, you know, that's all part of the art form of makeup, right? Like, you know, all makeup is an illusion that you're creating. And so, you know, for really good makeup tips for Zoom, play up your eyes, you know, really get that mascara, you know, really, you know, think about maybe an eyeshadow color that just enhances the color of your eyes. You know, lipstick is a great one, you know, and definitely blush. You know, blush is an unsung hero in makeup, and it changes like so much on your face in terms of just making you look awake and you know, making you look happy and well. You know, you don't look sick if you've got blush on, you know. And contouring, you know, contouring and highlighting, it's an amazing tool for you know, on camera work, and getting that real contouring to your face can show the planes of your face. And you know, like I draw my cheekbones on every day, right? Like just not blessed with amazing cheekbones, so you know, I cheat and draw them on. And so for camera work, you do need that intensity of that contour and that shape around your face to really give a sculpting look to your face. It's one of our makeup tricks.
Love that. Okay. And so what would you consider be your final tip on how to look great?
You know, it has got to be about the Zoom psychology. Okay. So you're going to hear about this for years to come, about how to give good face on Zoom, right? It is all about how you're perceived, you know, how you're presenting yourself. And it's going to be a whole new skill that we have to learn, you know, in the corporate world. So the sorts of things that I know, like, you know, it's an amazing piece of technology when used correctly. But like, for example, I'm not looking at you and I'm certainly not looking at myself on camera. I'm looking straight down the lens of the camera on my phone. So this is another tip with selfies, for example. A lot of us are taking selfies, but we're looking at ourselves on the camera, and then your eyes are slightly down and you look a bit weird, right? Like, the point of a good selfie is you want to be engaging with your audience about how gorgeous you are, right? So that selfie, you need to be looking at the camera. And likewise for Zoom, you need to be making sure that you're looking straight at that camera and not getting distracted by all these other things about yourself.
That is so true. Yes, very, very true. We recently actually did a event, and I was hosting it, and then we had another speaker, and we all had pretty heavy script and to make sure that we're doing it right. And we took so long just to try to perfect that sight line. And it's so important to try to actually talk and look into the camera rather than trying to read the notes, which I know I certainly do. And you do different, you know, when you're looking down the screen and following lines versus just being able to keep that eye contact. And it's very helpful once you do get used to it, because you like you said, you don't get distracted with your own look.
Yes. And like, I am so that person that I can get like, oh, my hair's out of alignment, I need to push that up a bit. Oh, let me do like, and you can't be touching yourself like that, you know, like, it's like, if I keep doing this with my hair, you're going to be like so distracted by the fact that I'm playing with my hair. Like, you know, like all of those books on psychology of women in business, which, you know, like I read so many of back when I was a lawyer, you know, one of the tips was never touch your hair. That's like a sign of weakness. And I mean, look, I play with my hair all the time because I've got curls in it. I want to make those curls have got to stay fabulous. But you know, gee, you can get away with a bit when you're front onto someone, but on camera, it's a different way of experiencing you. So, you know, that's another layer to Zoom. And even down to the fact that, you know, they've got other things that they can also occupy their time with while they're on a Zoom call. You know, it is very normal to be looking down and making notes while you're playing on your phone, right? Like, but you're very seriously making notes, right? But like, people get so distracted. They've got a million other things they can look at. If they've got, you know, multiple screens, for example, it's very distracting to be looking at other things. So it's very important that you keep your message to the point. Waffling's got to be down. You know, ask questions. Like, Zoom's got to be more engaging than you would ever do in person. You know, like, even down to your facial expressions, that resting bitch face that we talked about. You know, you do have to think about how your face is being portrayed. Like, you know, are you scowling? Do you look cranky? You know, do you have a neutral look, not too smiley because you look a bit psychotic? You know, it's like, this is a fine line to be, you know, operating with the Zoom psychology. You know, and we don't have that same connection that we would have face to face. And, you know, for me, so much of what I do when I'm talking about makeup and when I'm talking about teaching women about confidence and self-esteem and self-love and self-worth and all these good things that we also do at Iridis, I'm touching them while I'm doing that. And, you know, like, having a hard conversation about something that a script that a woman is saying to herself that's holding her back, either in her appearance or in her life. When you talk to her about that script that she's given herself, and you've got your hand on her shoulder and you're holding tightly with letting her know that you're there and this is a hard thing to talk about, but we're going to work through it together. And I mean, you know, these are the scripts that we have in our head about makeup, like, it, you know, and it's the self-worth stuff, and it's the things like, you know, I'm not pretty enough, or I'm too fat for this. No one's going to take me seriously because I, you know, don't wear makeup, or, you know, all of these things that we want to tell ourselves that keep us small and have us think that we aren't worthy of whatever it is we want to achieve, right? We all have this stuff. And one of the great things we do at Iridis is unpack some of that stuff and find ways to reframe it so that that doesn't hold us back and we just be the best version of ourselves, right? But so much of that relies on me holding someone's elbow or touching their hand and letting them know that this is a safe, non-judgmental space, and, you know, we're in it together. And I can't do any of that on Zoom. Like, it's really hard. I'm a hugger, man. Like, I am missing people. It's hard.
Totally. I completely agree. And to be honest, this is a really nice segue, I guess, into our next conversation. Is that's what I really love about your brand. You know, just the way that you've spoken about it. It's not just about putting on makeup to look pretty. You take the time and you give the expertise and the care for each one of your clients, let's just say, to try to unpack what they're thinking and bring positive, I guess, psychology or positive thoughts to their day-to-day lives. And that's something really special about, I guess, your business. So now that we've kind of, you know, got the 5 tips in place, let's understand a little bit more about your company. And, you know, I'm so fascinated by the fact that you and your partner obviously own Iridis Cosmetics, which is your own cosmetic brand, Australian made, fantastic. But how did you go about starting that? I think that's, you know, I feel like cosmetic is such a competitive industry to be in.
Oh my God, yes.
You know, you've got your big brands, your international brands and everything like that. And here you are, 2 amazing women starting something special together. So why did you want to do it? And then I guess, how did you get into it?
Oh, that is such a good question. And look, I tell you what, I really genuinely think that had I known that how hard it was going to be, how much work it was going to be, like, I don't know that I would have logically have like pursued it because, you know, like, it is a hustle. And like, I genuinely thought that 5 years in, we would be millionaires living the life And like I would just be like rich and famous, right? Like I was like, yeah, this is what I'm destined to be. But as it turns out, no. So, you know, I think it was really good that I was super naive and just had this, I'll manifest it. I'll make it happen. Like, how hard could it be? You know, because, it turns out quite hard.
Yes.
So like makeup had always been a big part of my life, right? I'd always loved makeup. You know, I've got drawings of me as an 8-year-old doing, you know, before and afters with makeup that I'd stolen from my sisters, right? Like drawn makeups, like hilarious. So like clearly it's what I was meant to do.
Yes.
But I wanted to be a lawyer because I wanted to change the world, and I wanted, you know, I'd had a really bad experience with the family court when I was 10, going through my parents' divorce, and I felt really disempowered. No one listened to me. You know, this was the 80s. You know, seems not much has changed. You know, we're like a horrible disenfranchised thing for kids in a family court situation. And, you know, ours was a complicated case because my father was violent and it was quite extreme levels of violence. And we, you know, were so like beholden to what the court thought was right, which was for me to go and see my dad. Like that was, I needed to go and have, you know, access visits. And you know, as a 10-year-old, you know, like you follow the rules and you listen to what people say and you do what they tell you. And so, you know, I agreed to going and seeing him, and I didn't want to. Like, you know, I'd gone into that meeting going, I am not seeing my dad because he scares the shit out of me. Yes. And then I come out of it going, oh, I'm seeing him fortnightly. And, you know, like it's so disenfranchising. So for me, all I wanted to do was change that experience for kids. And I was going to be a family law lawyer. And I was going to change it. And then I studied family law and I went and did some work experience in family law, and I cried every bloody day. And I was just like, okay, I am too emotional for this shit. I cannot do this. I would be terrible at this because I would just be so like unreasonable, like that. I would be known as a kook, right? So I was like, okay, no, too emotional. What could I do that's not emotional? And that became superannuation financial services law. So you know, although I would volunteer on the side and help with family violence situations, that was great, but I had to make a career and it had to be something unemotional. And so bloody superannuation, I tell you. So while I was doing all of that, like, you know, building a career and heading up the teams of lawyers and, you know, like really I worked hard at my legal career. I kept having goals that I wanted to meet. I'm very goal focused, very determined to succeed, especially after everything I've been through. That gave me, as a child, it gave me the impetus to want to make a difference for my own life. You know, we were poor after the divorce and all that sort of stuff. I wanted a good life for myself. So pretty much all the while that I'm working as this superannuation lawyer, I had this side hustle where I would make over my friends. And so, you know, lawyers would come into me and they'd be like, right, now, look, red lips seem to be in, you know, because, you know, they're always in every, like, couple of years. Yeah. Red lips are in. Can I wear red lips to court? Or am I going to, you know, be judged by the judge about looking like I'm a hooker or something? And I'd be like, yeah, you're totally going to be judged by these men, these white men on the courtroom. They will judge you for that, but do it anyway, you know. But if you're going to do that, just wear mascara, right? Like, you know, don't like. So here I am giving makeup advice in the toilets in law firms that I worked at.
Love it.
So I was just always doing these makeovers. And one day this lawyer came in and she'd just come back from maternity leave with her kids. She'd had 5 years off, 2 kids, come back. She was senior associate. She wanted to make partner. That was her next thing. But she felt like this utter frump. And she was like, look, all these young women that I'm competing with for partner look like they've got it together. Like, what the hell? I don't know how to even choose a lipstick, let alone put it on. You know, I don't have time because I'm a mum.
Yeah.
I need to look the part if I'm going to make partner. And
Mhm.
so I said to her, let's go shopping. Like, so
Yeah.
down we go, lunchtime at DJ's. I tell her all the products to buy, the brushes, the whole thing, come back, set her up in the toilet, and then give her a lesson on how to use all this stuff.
Yeah.
So over the next couple of months, she's like every day practicing with her makeup, sacrificing sleep so she can get her face on, you know, get the kids out the door. And then being in, you know, a big corporate office, it's all glass everywhere, of course. So in the boardroom, I watch her go in and do her partner pitch, and I'm like looking and I'm like, you know, like praying for her, you know.
Yeah.
And I just, I still remember this. So this would have been 1999, okay?
Yeah.
And I remember her going in, and I saw her just put her shoulders back, put her head up, and just strut into this room with full confidence. And like she had it down, like she knew what she was there to pitch, to show her worth. And, you know, like where she had come to me with this hunched over, I'm quiet, I'm not going to, you know, like I'll just look at you like this kind of, you know, introverted lawyer, to this woman, this confident, in control woman. And I had tears watching her do this presentation because of that change in her. And I thought, you know what? That's what I want to do. This law thing, like this law thing, you know. So then I did this for free on the weekends, and I would make people over.
Yeah, I love that. And that's amazing, isn't it? Because in many ways, I think in that moment, it was about the makeup, but in many ways, you probably would have seen how you've changed her confidence, how you've changed her self-esteem and self-worth.
Yeah.
For her to be able to walk into that room and feel like I feel good about myself.
Exactly.
That's amazing. Because I remember that, you know, I have a particular experience where I love wearing red lipsticks, you know, like outside of work and whatnot. And I remember this particular male person for an occasion said to me that it's probably inappropriate for me to wear a bright lipstick for this particular thing. Like you said, I still wore it anyway because I was like, I don't care what you say. But it's true because it's, you know, and it's amazing how, I don't mean to say it's men alone, but like, you know, it's amazing how people judge and how people think that, you know, you should look a certain way for a certain thing. And in many ways, you can really take it on. Because I was upset about it because I was like, why can't I wear my red lipstick?
Exactly. Oh man, oh god, I'm so mad. I'm like, and this is shit we have to deal with as women, right? Like and what I've found, you know, having been a lawyer for 17 years, and a lot of that time I would wear a shit ton of makeup, you know, like because it was my thing, you know, like I started off wearing false lashes. I'd stick them on just for board meetings because I'd be like, look, I want to just look the part for my board meeting. It would just give me that extra confidence. This was when I was company secretary, my last legal job. And, you know, it would just give me confidence. I would feel gorgeous and fabulous. And then I was like, oh, this is so good. I want to wear this every day. So then, you know, I just stick my lashes on every day. Right? Like this is a thing that makes me feel great about myself. So when you feel great about yourself, there's actual psychology around this, right? So there's science behind this, that when your outside feels great, you then feel more confident on the inside and you back yourself and you feel like you've got worth because you look in the mirror and you're like, yes, I am killing it. And like feminism has taught us that we do not need to wear makeup. We don't, okay? But if that's what makes you feel good about yourself, then bloody do it.
Yes.
And it's the same about the suit that you put on, or, you know, a dress makes you feel like that most amazing version of yourself. Those shoes that have you go, I am going to get that job interview nailed today. Like whatever it is. And this is one of the benefits of being women, right? We have this in our arsenal that we can change our appearance, we can put makeup on, we can do a lot with our hair. You know, I mean, guys have got, you know, like a beard or no beard. Okay, like that's their options. Hair, shave it off, or, you know, grow it long. Like that is it. Okay, so we are ahead of the game on this. And so, you know, the judgment that others put on us about whether we wear too much makeup, whether we wear a red lip or not, whether we don't wear makeup, whether, you know, we are overdone for a job. You know, like I'm sure everyone that ever met me thought I did not have a brain in my head because my makeup was always on point. But, you know,
how terrible is that? But it's so bloody true, you know, and that is like frustrating at the same time because,
Isn't
you know,
it?
judge you in a heartbeat, and it's
exactly. But that's the construct that we're living in, and until we change that, and we are making changes in that, you know, like the ideal definition of what beauty is now is a girl that's got a gap in her front tooth, or the redhead that's covered in freckles. Like these are things that we've seen in my generation of change. I forget that you're only like 27 and I'm 45. We're not a cohort. What am I saying? You know, in my lifetime of what beauty is, there's so much diversity, even down to the fact that we now have dark-skinned models everywhere, as we should, right? But that definition of what is beautiful is changing, and we are changing it. But at the same time, my thing is, don't be judged on the shit that doesn't matter. You know, be judged on whether you've got a good heart, whether you're a good corporate citizen. Do you make difference in the world? You know, are you doing good? Are you a good person? You know, like all of those things that really matter. So don't let them judge you on your appearance. If that means putting a bit of makeup on and looking the part that is what is expected, we'll do it. I mean, you know, the side effect of me wearing a shit ton of makeup all the time was that people didn't take me seriously sometimes. And then I would have to work extra hard to prove that I was an intelligent and serious lawyer, even though I just looked fabulous.
Yes, I love that. I love that. Now I realize we're going off track, so we meant to answer this.
Look, I've gone on my rant. My like, you know,
it's great, and I hear you, and I believe exactly what you're saying, because I think it goes beyond makeup as well. You know, similarly for me, like being a young, you know, Asian Vietnamese woman trying to run a business, like I get a lot of prejudice as well in a conversation, and I've experienced a lot of that too. So I hear, but I'm really curious. So obviously you've had the lawyer pathway, really amazing. And by the way, when I was younger, I wanted to be a lawyer as well. Time, and I realized it was not my thing. So from that moment of, you know, helping your colleague and then making that, I guess, decision to start something of your own, like, how was that like? And, you know, I do want to mention that you started this with your partner as well. So that's pretty incredible. Like, how was that journey like?
Oh my gosh. And look, if I wasn't with Kel, if I, you know, had still been a lawyer and I was still with my ex-husband who was also a lawyer, there is no way that I would have had the skills to be able to set up a company, because, you know, Kel is my numbers girl. She is just, you know, like she's managing an $8 billion portfolio for Rest superannuation. So like, you know, she is so in the numbers thing. Like she's super numeric. You know, she put together the business model on how to, you know, pay a commission to a makeup artist. She's the one that ran the numbers to make sure we were profitable, you know, the GST, all of these number related things, which look, on some days I can't even work out what numbers to punch into the calculator in the right order to get the answer. So like, you've got to play to your skills in business. So, you know, I'm forever grateful that Kel crossed my path and that I was able to, you know, like build this together with her. But it took the global financial crisis in 2008 to have me be out of work for 6 months. And as a lawyer, like, you know, you've got 2 degrees and a couple of diplomas, and, you know, you think, oh, I'm so employable. And then there was just nothing because, you know, GFC, like financial services, we were all stuffed. So, you know, like it was all that time that out of the workforce where I was, you know, at my lowest point, that this idea of Iridis came to me. And, you know, if I hadn't have had that time out of the workforce, you know, I would never have come up with this concept and this dream. And I mean, you know, like I always wanted to make women feel amazing about themselves, and makeup was a great tool to do that because I loved it. And it lends itself to that. But for me, it was also this thing of going, well, I've got to make it profitable because I have a lifestyle that I do enjoy and I need to make sure that I'm making money. You know, you don't go to business without wanting to make money. So, you know, how could we make this profitable? And that was about creating our own makeup line, and then the business structure of how we would teach that to people. And then with our Iridis Influencers program, which is a whole bunch of makeup artists that would use our products on their clients and then sell those products to their clients and get a commission for that. So like, we've got sort of two main clients in our business. We've got our consumer everyday women clients that generally are over 35. And then we've got our makeup artists who also are being given an opportunity to do what they love and make money doing it.
Yeah.
So, you know, all of that was between Kel and I, and, you know, I had the vision and I had the, you know, like, so the practicalities, and I can break everything down. And obviously I'm good at systems and how to create all those business processes. Like that's my skill set. But I lacked the numbers. So, you know, thank God Kel could step in and do that. So between the two of us, you know, we are the perfect person.
Yeah, beautiful. I love that. And I love that. And you're so right in the sense that, you know, you've got to play with your strengths when it comes to business as well. And in the areas where you do lack, that's where you need to bring the expertise in, you know, whether it is your life partner or you know, someone else to bring on board, because I think that's what I've learned over the years of doing business as well. It's like, you can't be great at everything in business because there's so many bloody facets to it, but you've got to be able to bring the people with the expertise in to support you, and that's how you'll grow. So that's fantastic.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I want to ask, because I know I've heard about this, so I'm keen for you to share it, is what are your sustainable practices within, I guess, your business to become more environmentally friendly? It's so important, you know, these days, but like what are you doing with your company right now?
Oh, I so love this. Well, makeup is notorious in terms of, you know, waste and single-use products. So obviously from a hygiene perspective, and never more than now, you know, it's you use a plastic mascara wand to go into the tube of mascara and then go straight onto your client's eye. You don't double dip that. So if you need another coat of mascara, you get a fresh wand and use that. You know, baby wipes, we all use, you know, all the time to clean our hands and wipe down palettes and things like that. You know, the paper towel with the alcohol that we use to sanitize our products. All of these things is just so much waste. And, you know, your little, you know, plastic bottles, you know, like this is, it's all about plastic, you know. So we're using recycled products wherever possible. That's one of our packaging. It's one of the things we've been working on with our manufacturers. We also have a eyeshadow palette that is custom made, so cheeks and eyes for our clients. So each of the clients just buys an individual eyeshadow well, and then it sits into a palette made of recycled cardboard. And with that, there's no waste because they're not getting, you know, 20 colors of eyeshadows and they use 2 of them. And as women, we know we do that. There's 2 browns that we use all the time. And so that we're really cutting down on the packaging and we're really cutting down on waste. We've also implemented a recycle program with our clients so they can bring back 6 of their empty Iridis containers, and we give them a product, a free product to the value of $40. So, you know, that's a good reminder of everyone that, you know, to actually recycle. And then we bundle that up and send that off to the makeup recyclers. And, you know, I mean, it's costing us to actually go and send that because you can't just put it in your yellow bin. But the great thing is that we're, you know, doing something to be a bit more sustainable. So, you know, all of these little practices make a big difference, and even down to washing our mascara wands and, you know, sanitizing them for reuse is every little bit makes a difference. You know, buying the baby wipes that are more expensive, but they don't have any plastic in them, so therefore they break down easier. It's all those, and we've got that responsibility. I mean, you know, I don't want to add to a world, especially with my little 18-month-old. You know, I don't want him having a world full of plastic.
Yes, fantastic. No, I love all of those aspects, and it's so great that you are implementing it within your business, and I guess coming up with strategies for people to be reminded on recycling. You know, it's crazy that you have to remind people to recycle in the first place.
I know.
But nonetheless, you are coming up with ways on, I guess, incentivizing that. So that's fantastic to see. Now, before we wrap up, I guess for anyone who wants to start a business and follow their dream, it's a big question. What would be your like number one tip?
Okay, you must work out how to make it profitable early on. And listen to people that know these things, right? So Kelly said to me, like, we got an overdraft, right, from ANZ. Thank you, ANZ. And then I'm like, great, we've got 50 grand to spend on product. And Kelly's like, no, we're not going to be spending 50 grand on product. That is tying up your cash flow. And I'm like, oh, it'll be fine. I'll buy 50 grand of product. We'll sell it for all the profit and we'll just have all this money. So turns out that doesn't happen, okay? Not straight away. And so don't tie up your cash flow if you're going to have products in product. And really work out what it costs you to do business. So if you wanted to start a service-based business, work out what that cost of business is. So for makeup, right, the prices of getting your makeup done vary dramatically. You can have a $40 face. I wouldn't recommend it, okay, just saying. Or you can have a $150 face or a $200 face, right? Now, what goes into that pricing structure? Well, clearly your expertise, right? But you know, I can guarantee you that $40 face makeup artist is not going to be sanitizing the crap out of their brushes, is not going to be deep cleaning those brushes, are not going to be, you know, buying these amazing products that aren't going to react on your skin, you know, that are camera friendly. They're not going to know all that stuff because they've not invested in themselves, right? And likewise, your own pricing, think about it. You've got to have insurance factored in. You've got to have, you know, your cost of your accountant. You're going to need, you know, your website cost. All of those on costs to get set up are massive at the start, right? So, you know, get some help from a bank. Use your savings. You know, like we put hundreds of thousands of dollars into Iridis of our own money. And, you know, that was really one benefit of being a lawyer. Truly, it paid for my bloody makeup line. You know, it is not cheap to do that. But the profit side of things, you know, you need to be pricing yourself accordingly, and don't undercut just for the sake of thinking you'll get more work, because there are so many people out there that will find a $60 face, an $80 face, and a $150 face and think, oh, I'm not going to have a $60 face at all. Maybe the 80, but what's the difference between what's that $30 going to get me difference? And then that comes down to you selling your services as to why you're worth that. But run your numbers, know your numbers. This was something that took me years to work out, and I was behind the eight ball, and I was constantly having Kelly going, no, we can't spend the money that way.
It's so true. Yes, so true, because I totally agree with you. And for me, you know, similarly, you know, when I first started out in business, the first couple of years was really finding my feet. And that whole notion of like trying not to undercut your, I guess, your pricing, because you feel like, you know, for me, I was quite overwhelmed to begin with, because I was like, I'm young, I'm fresh out of uni. I do have a lot of experience because I've, you know, actually managed to work at a lot of different places. But I felt like a little bit intimidated by how to price my time. And it took me a while, like a couple of years, to kind of slowly build that momentum to be like, actually, you know, like similar to your makeup product, my service time is worth this, you know, and I really got to stick to that. And it's so true, you know, at the end of the day, we're in business, you do need to make money. And it's this crazy thing of, especially nowadays, there's a lot of, you know, not-for-profits or social enterprise, or like, you know, a lot of young entrepreneurs as well. I think I've spoken to a lot of people who felt like they need to give a lot of free things or do a lot of things for free, because they're trying to find their feet. But it's, you know, the reality is, if you're going to do this as a full-time thing and it's going to be your business, you do need to make money, and it's okay to be making money, because it's work. You know, just major companies that are selling products to you that you're buying, you shouldn't feel like you need to be giving out free makeup or free whatever it is. And yeah, you do need to know your numbers. And similar to you, I have Victor, who's from a banking background, so he's been able to be like, right, you know, like I like your creative idea, but you need to hone it in because this is getting a bit silly.
Victor is the story of my life. Like, truly. And I make a joke that if I didn't have Kelly, I would be bankrupt. Like, it literally is true. I just want all the things. Like, why do I wait for things? No, that's not the generation I've been born into. And look, the other thing is, like, there's two other key aspects to a really successful business. And I coach makeup artists on how to think like a businesswoman rather than a creative person, because they're different brains, different skill sets. I spent nearly 20 years being a lawyer. Like, this all has to, there's all elements to this that come into being a great makeup artist. So the second thing is your vision. You must know what it is that you are offering to the world and what your point of difference is. Yeah. What is it that is your unique value proposition that no one else is offering, and how you do that? Like, be really clear on what that is and think about it every day. Take action on it every day. This is not something that you can just sit and hope that it happens. Like, it just doesn't. So the third element of that is the ideal client. You need to know exactly who you are targeting with everything that you put out into the world. And, think about it all very positively too, because this doesn't exist yet. You're creating it as you go, right? So keep yourself positive, have your energy high, be happy about what you're doing because it's amazing, right? Yeah. And that energy then draws all the right people to you to help you move forward. But know who it is that you're talking to with your social media posts. Like, we didn't know this for ages with Iridis. Like, we just thought it was like 17 or, 15 to 80, No, what we offer really resonates with your over 35s whose face have changed after, like wearing makeup, for 20 years. Things are different and they don't know how to do it differently. Like, that is our target market. And so everything we talk about on social media is to her, and I know her intimately. Like, I am all over her. So think about who you're like I am her, right? So like, think about who it is that is your best client ever that you've ever had, that you connect with, that they buy everything, that they're just amazing to deal with. Think of that person and then create an ideal client around her. And the detail you've got, this needs to be like a 3-day job. Like, this is a deep process. And then everything you create from there on in is to that person. And I tell you, nail those things and you're going to have the best business.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much. That was so insightful and so much fun as well.
I know. Like, I never had this much fun when I was a lawyer, I can tell you now.
I love that. And clearly it shows because you're like, I'm in the right, industry, I'm in the right job. And that's the thing, I think we were saying before when I called you and said, hey, are you keen to do this together? I just love your like laughters. I vibe it off you that you're clearly really passionate about what you do. Similar to what we're passionate about, what we're doing. And I think, this is why it's such a great collaboration to be doing this kind of episode together. So thank you so much for your time and your expertise. It was so much fun having you on board. Be sure to check out Iridis Cosmetics website. Now, we've got the link there, perfect. So be sure to jump on, check it out, check out your social media, and support local businesses, support an Australian brand. It's so important. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Should you want to see more of Couch Community events, please be sure to jump on our website. Our next event is actually happening this Sunday. Now, it's pretty funny because it will be our season finale of Recipes for the Restless, which was usually a chef versus a comedian. This time it's going to be an amazing chef, Mike Baker, versus our entire JTPM team. So we're going to do a cooking relay in our kitchen. And we're going to be making an apple and rhubarb crumble. So it's going to be delicious. It's going to be heaps of fun this Sunday at 5 p.m. on our JT Production Management's Facebook page. So until then, thank you again, Peta-Gai. It was amazing to have you on board.
Thanks for having us. Yes, we love being a part of this. Your whole program is amazing. You've done such a great job. Thanks for having us.
Thank you. See you guys.